up, everybody? My name is Chris Locke, and this is The Lockdown. So in this video, what we're going to be talking about is which Carolina Panthers I think will be in the Hall of Fame someday. So if you like the videos I'm putting out, just click the subscribe button right down there, and also comment below with some of the players you think will be in the Hall of Fame. So I have two tiers we're going to be talking about today. The first tier we're going to be talking about, we're going to start off with a player who has been dominant ever since he came in the league, and his name is Mr. Julius Peppers. He just actually came back to the Panthers. Now, Julius Peppers is not only top 5 of all time in sacks in the NFL, which is incredible. That is it's just ridiculous. But he is actually 7 sacks away from moving up to the 4th spot, which is ridiculous. I mean, with his contract he just got, so he gets $125,000 per sack that he gets on the field. So you better believe, I hope he gets 7 sacks this season. He moves up to number 4. That would be straight incredible. Another thing what's really interesting is, I didn't know this until I looked it up, but there are 3 players that have played on the Panthers at some point in their career that are on the top 5 list. That's Mr. Kevin Green, Mr. Reggie White, and then Mr. Julius Peppers. Just incredible. Also, fun fact, guys, Julius Peppers is one of 2 people in human history to ever play in a Final Four and also a Super Bowl. So if you guys know the other guy, I'll give you a hint. He was a quarterback. If you guys know the other guy, just comment below. The next Panther I want to talk a little bit about. This guy, I mean, what else can you say about him? He's just an animal. He's always been an animal. I'm sad when he left the Panthers. That's Mr. Steve Smith, Agent 89 himself. Yes. Now, Steve Smith was not only a boss on the field, but he's also a boss off the field too. Sometimes fighting people on and off the field, which I mean, he's only 5'9". I mean, I would never want to fight Steve Smith. That'd be terrifying. I don't want to do that. Oh man, but the cool thing about Steve Smith is he is number 7 all-time on receiving yards, which is incredible. Now, he just retired, and one day he is going to retire a Panther, and they're going to build a statue right outside the stadium, which I will definitely be there for the dedication. And if I have any say in what the statue should be, it should be him catching the pass. And I guess it was the NFC divisional round against the best team on turf, the best team on turf, which was the Rams, when he caught it and he ran like that in overtime. Just ridiculous! But we still lost that Super Bowl too. Sad times. But also, what was cool about Steve Smith is he won the Triple Crown, which he's one of 3 players since 1966 to ever win the Triple Crown. Now that means you lead the league in receiving yards, receptions, and receiving touchdowns. That's just crazy, man. And he's the last person to do it, which was in 2005. Just unreal. Now, I only have one more Panther in the tier 1, and that is Luke. Now, a lot of you are saying, man, Luke Kuechly, he's on the borderline. But Luke Kuechly is a beast. Let's all be serious. Luke Kuechly is already, in my book, one of the best linebackers of all time. But Luke Kuechly is the best coverage linebacker I think I've ever seen. I mean, the guy's reading plays before they start. He's calling out plays before they start. But not only that, but all the awards that he has won. He not only won Defensive Rookie of the Year, but then right after that, he won Defensive Player of the Year. Now, if they gave MVPs to defensive players, he probably would have won it that year. That year was unreal. He's also he's a 2-time Buckus Award winner, which basically means you're the best linebacker in the league also, which is really cool. He also won in college too, but we're just talking about the NFL here. We're talking about the pro career. He's also a 4-time Pro Bowler and a 4-time All-Pro player. Just ridiculous. I mean, it keeps going on. But my favorite stat is he is tied for the most tackles out of any game, and I think it's 25 if I'm correct. I was at that game. I was at the Saints game when he did it, when we were getting our butts whipped by the Saints, but miraculously a monsoon came through, and Luke Kuechly, I mean, he had video game numbers, and he intercepted Drew Brees just the best. It was one of the best games I've ever seen in my life. It's probably the best Panther game I've ever seen in my life. I'd much rather. I know this is bad. A lot of people say, "Oh, I want to see a blowout. I want to see a close game where the Panthers are fighting," and that's why we're called the Cardiac Cats. So that's the tier 1. The tier 2 is pretty interesting too, because there's a lot of borderline players, especially players that are playing right now, that I think will be in the Hall of Fame. The next player I'm going to talk about, the first player in tier 2 is Mr. Greggy Olsen. Oh, Greg, Bailey's creamy. If you've ever seen that, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, then just look up old Greg. So Greg Olsen is the first tight end in NFL history to have 3 1,000-yard seasons back to back to back. Just unreal. Now, that's because we pass a lot, and yeah, he might be our only, viable option. I hear that all the time. But that doesn't matter. I mean, there's still, like, Gronkowski is a beast for the Patriots, right? But his problem is he gets hurt. Now, knock on wood, we're not going to let Mr. Greg my dog just barked. We're not going to let Greg Olsen get hurt. But also, what's really cool is he's in the top 10 of tight end receiving yards of all time, which is super duper awesome. Now, another player I think that should get in the Hall of Fame, hands down, which a lot of people say no way, but I really think he should get in the Hall of Fame, is Mr. Thomas Davis. I mean, Mr. Thomas Davis Sr. Let's put some respect on his name. Thomas Davis is a 2-time Pro Bowler. He was only won the All-Pro once, which is ridiculous for the... it's just ridiculous. The numbers and stats and leadership and hard hitting he's put up. Come on, man. Weaker people have won, like, All-Pros by doing nothing. It's just off a name, and sometimes I feel like All Pro is kind of just off of what you done, like what you did 5 years ago, But now also he's won the Walter Payton of the Man of the Year award, which is ridiculous. Which Greg Olsen should have won this year, but they tied it up. They gave it to Larry Fitzgerald and Eli Manning. Just crickets. Just terrible. But yeah, and then Thomas Davis tore his ACL 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, and still came back to be an absolute animal. And is still going. He should be in the Hall of Fame simply because he came back from 3 ACLs and still is beast mode. Now, finally, this is going to be a very controversial one. It'll be a lot of pros, a lot of negatives saying he should or not. I think one day that Cam Newton will be in the Hall of Fame. Now, most of the tier 2 players, I really think that they still have a ways to go. That's why I put them in tier 2. They still got some more, work to do. But for Cam, it's kind of a teeter-totter, Like his stats are ridiculous already. I mean, let's just read some of them off real quick. He was Rookie of the Year. He was MVP of the whole entire NFL. He was Offensive Player of the whole entire NFL. He has the single season rushing touchdown record for a quarterback. And in his rookie season. I don't know if that'll ever be broken. That stat was just ridiculous. He also has the all-time quarterback rushing touchdown record also, which he beat Steve Young, who Steve Young did it like something like over 150, 160 games. Cam only did it in like 70 something. That says it all right there. So I think, and now he's had some All-Pros, Pro Bowls too. Now the big thing everyone says is, yeah, he had a terrible year this year. He did have a terrible year, but there's been a lot of quarterbacks who have been in the Hall of Fame who had a terrible year. You guys are telling me Aaron Rodgers is a boss, right? Well, Aaron Rodgers had a terrible year 2 years ago. He had a terrible year earlier this year a little bit too. But it's who Cam is. Sometimes he's going to be inconsistent. Sometimes he's going to be Superman, I just knocked my microphone off. We're back. All right. But yeah, Cam is going to bounce back this season, and I really, really think that he's going to have a monster season with the way his footwork, everything. But I think he's going to turn it up, and he's going to crush it this year. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in so much. If you guys like my Hall of Fame nominees for the Carolina Panthers, hit that like button, subscribe, and if you have some other people that I missed or you want to add, just comment below. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is The Lockdown. I'm Chris Locke, and keep pounding!